Oh, definitely. I think it's great for the city. You look at the Mets; they've won 11 in a row, had a perfect homestand. Obviously, it's very exciting over there, and the way we played the last 7 games and go out on this road trip, we're excited about what we're doing. So I think it's really good for the city.
I know you've been focused on your team, but of what you've heard and seen of the Mets, what's impressed you of the way they started?
Well, they've pitched very well. They have not given up a lot of runs in their first 16 games, and they've had a lot of clutch hitting in their games. I look at Curtis; he's been extremely patient at the plate. They have guys that can hit the ball at the ballpark, and Familia's done a really good job, and probably in a role he wasn't expected to do going into spring training, but he's really stepped up and done a nice job for him.
You mentioned the pitching. How difficult a task is it for your offense, considering the guys that you have to face this series?
Well, we know they're very good, but we feel good about our offense, the way it's been swinging the bats. And we ran into some good pitchers on this road trip, and we had some success, so we got to keep it going.
Anthony.
Joe, it's the first time that both teams have had a share of first place in the Subway Series since it came on in '97.
Really?
Yeah, what do you make of that?
Well, it's good for the city. I mean, it's good for baseball. Obviously, you look at, we're on all the networks this weekend, so obviously, the world, the United States is very excited about it. Baseball's very excited about it. So, but I think it's great. I'm sure the atmosphere will be really, really good these next 3 days, and I'm looking forward to it.
Sweeney.
The way you've used Betances and Miller hasn't really changed over the first couple of weeks.
Correct.
The way their lineup looks.
Yeah.
Could that?
It's something that I might think about doing a little bit different depending on where we are, just because of, you look at their first 5 hitters, the way that kind of sets up. You might have to think about it a little bit different.
Fred.
Joe, just Chris Young, what is he giving you?
He's given us a lot. Obviously, he swung the bat extremely well. He's had clutch hits for us. I've been able to play him in every outfield position, which I think is really important as well, because you can give guys a day off. In the absence of Carlos being sick, I thought he stepped up and did a really nice job, and he's been important to our team.
Back.
Joe, what does it tell you? What does it tell you about New York as a baseball city? That this is in July, where it's just baseball. I mean, this is a time where there's hockey, there's basketball. It's a very crowded weekend, and yet there seems to be a lot of buzz centralized here.
Well, I think it's probably because of the way the two teams are playing. The Mets have played well all year, and we've played well the last 11 games when you look at it. And obviously, hockey's very important to this town, and basketball's very important to this town, and we have that going on. But right now, when you have two teams that are in first place, I think people are pretty excited about it.
Dead center. Otis.
You touched on it a little bit as far as the fans go, but what does it mean for the fans, the ones that are Yankee fans, the ones that are Met fans, to have this come, and especially with you guys playing well? What do you see?
Well, I think it's bragging rights for an evening, and then it's bragging rights for an entire offseason is what it is. And, I know fans for both clubs. Obviously I'm the Yankee manager, but I know people, and some of the people that, are friends of mine are Mets fans, and, I have to listen to them. So it's really important to me, too.
Marley.
Joe, how do you compare this intercity rivalry to, for example, for you, with the Cubs and White Sox?
I think it's pretty similar. I think the rivalries are really spirited. At times, they get a little bit heated, sometimes heated in the stands as well, which we do not condone, and I hope it doesn't happen. But I think they're pretty similar, probably because of the proximity. The Cubs and White Sox aren't too far apart. We're not too far apart. It's just one little bridge and a quick bus ride. So I think they're pretty similar.
To your left, Pete.
Joe, you played with Bernie. Is this kind of like a Bernie being Bernie thing, that he's announcing his retirement 9 years after he played his final game?
Yeah, someone asked me, did I ever announce my retirement? I said, no, I think I just knew. I didn't know you really had to announce your retirement. If you don't show up for 9 years and you're over 40, you got to believe that the guy's done. But it's Bernie being Bernie.
Bruce right here in the middle.
He's not a member of the core four, but when you think of his accomplishments and what he did here, how would you put that in perspective?
Well, I think he was as important as anyone in the success that the Yankees had, just because of his presence in our lineup, being a switch hitter, breaking up the left-handers, his ability to run, his ability to play defense. He was important as any of those guys. And the only reason it probably wasn't a core five was because he was here a couple years earlier than the other four guys. The other four guys pretty much were about the same time.
Sweeney.
Joe, for years when we would ask Derek or Jorge about the Subway Series coming up, they'd roll their eyes because they knew the questions are coming. They've been through it so many times. Do you feel like your group is looking at this a little fresher? Maybe guys are excited in a different manner? Than
Yeah, when you look at this group has not experienced as much as some of those other guys did year after year, and it was a lot of the same faces in the clubhouse. So for a lot of them, it's their first experience, and I think they'll enjoy it.